Did you know that you can create professionally designed presentations in under 60 seconds? Today, in this video, I'm going to talk about Gamma.app. This is a tool that we use at our company every single week just to create presentations, pitch decks, even LinkedIn carousels. And honestly, I think that if you're still using PowerPoint, you're really wasting your time. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the best features and how to use Gamma. All right, so once you go to Gamma.app, you can kind of see a little bit of information about the different features that they have. So presentations is the number one feature that we use it for, but you can create documents, social media posts, even websites and web pages. And then they just recently released their API, which we'll talk a little bit more about how you could use the API to automate some of these presentation creations or social media creations. And so we'll kind of dive in a little bit more. Now, you can start with the free version. Huge fan of anything that kind of lets you get a lot of features out of the free version before having to upgrade. Gamma is one of those apps. And so you can actually create an entire presentation with everything that we're going to talk about here with just the free version. And then you only have to upgrade if you want more extensive documents. And so we're going to log in here. And then once you log in, you'll be able to see up here in the top left corner, create new. That's where we're going to start. These are all the Gammas that I've created in the past. But when you click create new, you have a couple of different options here. The one that I use most often is going to be paste in text, but you can generate from one line, import a prior presentation that you've created and just kind of continue from there. Or you can remix from some of their templates. And so we're just going to start with paste in text. And then once you click this, you can see presentation, web page, document, or social. We're going to go through each of these, but we'll start with presentation. And then you can kind of select the orientation you want to start with, this page style. I'm just going to leave it on default because sometimes you want it to be a little bit taller or a little bit wider. And so it'll just kind of decide from there. Now, I'm going to show you how I might create a sales presentation for a specific customer. If I've got a sales call and I want to make sure to kind of present our business and our information, but for that customer, there's kind of a way that I like to go through that. And so in here, you'll see this little outline. I like to use this style. And so if I go into ChatGPT and I click paste, let's use this format for creating an outline for a pitch deck. Here's my company's information. And I go to madewell.ai. And then if you click Command A on any page, you can select all of the text. So I'm going to paste that in here, and then I'll say, here is the company's information that I'm trying to pitch. And then I'm just going to go into Perplexity. Now, I've made a whole video about Perplexity and how you can use this for your research. It's useful for all kinds of things. So I'll make sure that that link is in the description as well if you guys want to do some more research on businesses or other types of things. Now, I'm just going to search for HVAC companies near me. And then I'm just going to select one. Now, let's say do some research on reliable heating and air, find out everything there is to know about that company, and then write a big document with all of the information there. Now it's going to do that research. I was just using a dictation tool called Willow Voice. I've also made a video on that one. We'll also link that in the description for you if you want to watch that video. But this basically is just going to do a ton of research on that company, everything there is to know about it. And then I'm just going to come down and copy all of this information and paste it in here. Then I'll say, now write me a full pitch deck outline. And then ChatGPT is going to use my information, their information, and then kind of write it with that format that I told it to write for me. So then I can just kind of copy just that format in here. Now, if you come down, click copy, and then I go back into Gamma and I paste it here, what it's going to do is it's going to follow this format. And so it's going to automatically split the cards or slides based off of these little line breaks here. So I'm going to click generate from notes or outline, click continue, and then you'll see it automatically split everything into these different cards here. Now you can do freeform. So if you don't have that format, you can just kind of throw a bunch of text in there and it's going to use that. But I like to say card by card. And then I'm going to say you can kind of separate out how much, maybe you want minimal information or more detailed information. If you're just doing a screen share pitch deck, maybe you want a little bit more minimal. So we'll just go with concise. You can kind of see the text content, generate, condense, preserve. Preserve would be you want it to say exactly what you put into this outline for it. But we're just going to say generate or condense. But I'm going to say generate. It's going to kind of automatically pull some of the information here, but you can change this, the tone, confident, clear, practical. And then you can come down and change the language if you wanted to, and then the visuals. And so this is where you can add your own theme for your brand at your business, and you just create it and reuse it. So you can view more about their templates, but I just like to have basically a light mode and a dark mode. And so we're just going to select light mode. And then this is where you can use AI images or stock images or web images, GIFs, things like that. I'm going to use AI images here just so that you can see it. And it's going to auto select which model, but you could upgrade and just kind of select, I only want to use Nano Banana or Leonardo Phoenix or something else like the GPT image model. And so they've got great models in here, and I'm just going to kind of let it auto select which one it thinks is best. And then you can select your image art style. So photorealistic, illustration, abstract, 3D, etc. And so we'll leave it on ultra realistic, photorealistic, and then come down here. And then if you're in freeform, you can decide how many cards you want it to create. Since we have it using the card by card style, it's automatically determining there's 14 cards here. But if you wanted to click freeform, you could say, I want it to have 5 cards or 12 cards. Now, I think on the free version, you only get 10 cards included free. But if you upgrade, then you can get 20 cards. And then if you upgrade to the tier above that one, you get up to 60 cards. And so we're just going to leave it here on the card by card and click generate. Now, once you click generate, you'll literally be able to see it creating everything right there live in front of you. And so it's generating images, it's generating the text, it's generating every single card. It's giving it different layouts like these different cards here, and then little line breaks and numbers. And then sometimes it'll even put these little icon drop downs, maybe things like charts or graphs or things like that. And so it can do all kinds of things and put images in different layouts for you. So this is something that in the past, if I was using something like PerpResenter or another tool for actually creating these different outlines and presentations, this would have literally taken me hours and hours because I'm not really a designer. I know kind of what I want it to look like, but I don't really know how to lay it out. So even using something like a template can be difficult for me because if I want to add more information, I just start to mess up the layouts. But when it comes to AI, it just does a phenomenal job. It knows what types of components you have available. It knows how to stack them into these different layouts, and you could add more information. And so it does a great job in literally seconds, just throwing together this whole presentation specifically about my business for their business. And it's very, catered and personalized to them. And so this is a great example of putting together a pitch deck that you could do for every single customer at scale. Every sales call could have a unique personalized pitch deck for them. And so this is just an example of using it. You could use it for all kinds of things, pitch decks, training for onboarding teams, all kinds of things that you might want to use it for. And then if you come in here and you want to add a new one, you could just add another slide. So maybe under, who are we at Madewell? Maybe I want to add something about Ben Valentine. My name is Ben Valentine. I'm the CEO of the company. Add an intro slide here. Then all it's going to do is it's going to create another slide for me. And then I could actually add my information about me and then replace this image with a picture of me. And so if I wanted to make this more visual or, specifically bullet style or something like that, you can click this edit with AI. And then it gives you some little quick prompts here, like make this more visual, add an image, simplify the language, improve the writing, or make this into a bullet list instead of paragraph form. And then all it's going to do is open this little sidebar on the right for the agent. And the agent is something that you can use to edit all kinds of things. And so I could literally just say, let's make slide 13 more visual. And it knows it has the context of that slide and it can go in and revise it. So now you can see what it looked like before and what it looks like after. And then I can just close this and just maintain this slide here. And so I like that a lot better. And we've got a finished pitch deck. And so this is one of the number one ways that we use Gamma is for creating presentations like this. Then you can come up here to the present, and then you have a full presentation, an opportunity for reliable heating and air. And you can kind of just continue down the slides just like a normal presentation tool. And so it's all here, it's all built in, and you can do a presentation, just share your screen on the call and then go through this whole presentation. Now, if you wanted to share it digitally, you could click the share button, click share, and then you can copy this link, and anyone with the link can view this. And so they'll just get direct access to be able to actually view the pitch deck. And if there are things that might be interactive, like animations, and so you can hover over it, see more information, and you could add to these different things. Like maybe I wanted this to be a pie chart. Let's use a pie chart instead. Again, it's going to open the little sidebar for you, and it's going to revise this. Instead of using this bar chart, it's going to use a pie chart. And now you can kind of hover over it there. And so if I wanted to actually present, if somebody was looking at this online, they would be able to just hover over it. And it's a little more interactive than just sending them a PDF pitch deck or something like that. So big fan of using the presentations tool, and we use it pretty often. Now, if you come back in here and you want to try another style of document, maybe a social post, I would come back into ChatGPT. I've got a LinkedIn posts tool and say, let's write an outline for a carousel. All right, let's just copy this. And then we'll come back in here and we're just going to paste it in here. And then I'm going to delete anything we don't need like that. And then delete the bottom. And then I'm going to click generate from outline, configure. So this works the same as we were doing before, where you can kind of create the different cards, things like that. So it sees that we're doing 8 cards here. And then I'm going to do concise or minimal, actually. I'm going to come down here and select this theme. And then I'm going to select no images. All right. And then I'm going to click generate. Now it's going to do the same thing that we were doing with the presentations. The only difference is it's a different format, a different outline and orientation. So this is more designed for something like a LinkedIn carousel or an Instagram story or something like that, where when you export this as a PDF, you could actually import it into LinkedIn and it'll be in that format, that orientation, just like you would see a carousel, so people can easily swipe through. So if you want to come up with ideas for your LinkedIn posts, you could just use ChatGPT to kind of come up with an outline for it, and it'll actually create this for you. And so we use this a good bit for actually posting carousels. And in a little bit, I'll show you a way that we're considering automating that system because you have the API with Gamma and you can automatically create these. And so all you have to do is click share, click export, and export to PDF. Now, if you wanted to adjust the theme, this is something I meant to show you in the presentations as well. You just click theme here, and then you can literally just click on a different theme and everything is going to change, but keep all of the same content. And so now we've got the same content, same layout, everything's the same, just the designs changed. And so if you wanted to come in and click these 3 dots here and click edit theme, then you can actually revise the fonts and your primary colors and the logo and the design and things like that. And so you could save it and just call it, your dark theme or your light theme or a specific theme for whatever specific type of design that you want to use. And you can reuse that for all kinds of things. And so we have just a couple of themes in here. I pretty much just have a dark theme and a light theme, and we reuse these pretty often. But the light theme seems pretty straightforward, so you could use this as just your standard theme and then apply that, whether it's a presentation or a social post, you can use it for both. Now, when you come back in, you click paste in text and click document. This is another one that I've been playing with a little bit for things like maybe company core values or training material. I wouldn't use it for documents like SOPs or standard operating procedures necessarily, unless you want it for a very specific one, because we create a lot of SOPs and creating one for every single SOP could be very tedious and it take a long time. But if it's something that you want to create that you're going to use over and over again, like maybe an ebook for a lead magnet or something like that, you could use this. And when you upgrade and you get 60 cards that you can create, you could create a 60-page ebook with ChatGPT, separate all the cards out, throw it in here, and just have it outline really well. Okay, so for instance, I was messing with creating an SOP for LinkedIn. So I could copy this, come in here, and paste this. And this could be an SOP that we might use for anybody learning to post LinkedIn posts or carousels or things like that. And so all it's going to do is create an actual outline for the SOP. Now, this one, maybe we want to delete that first card because that's a blank, come down to the bottom, make sure that it all looks clean. And then same thing here, right? You want to be maybe a little more detailed in an SOP or extensive, and then come down, and we don't really want to add any images. We'll just keep it light theme and then just click generate. So we're going to have 13 cards out of this. And then same thing as it's creating this, it's going to be the same as like your presentations or your social posts. It's just going to be a little bit of a different outline. So it's more like a document as opposed to something like the presentation or your social post. So orientation is going to be a little bit different. It's going to take some different things into account. So if you were to export this as a PDF, it would look much more like some type of document that you would review, or you could just share the actual URL for your team to be able to view some of this more interactive stuff in here. And so you've got different posting categories like stories, experiments and audits, frameworks and templates, hot takes and polls. So it's kind of nice that it breaks it down to more of this style of a document, where this would take me forever, right? It's not so much about writing it, it's about how do you lay out the information in a way that's visually appealing. So I think a lot about ebooks or helpful things that you might be able to use as lead magnets in your sales system. This is awesome, right? Being able to write it with ChatGPT and just go back and forth until you have the whole outline for everything. And then you just have this actually expand on it and lay out the information. Do this, don't do this, And so I like this a lot. I would not have thought to design it or lay it out like this, and put different steps in the system. And this could be a great tool for training somebody. I think onboarding systems for bringing on new team members, this is a phenomenal tool for that because it's more of a document, less of a presentation, and somebody could go through and kind of read through a little bit easier. And then maybe you wanted to create a video and you could link it at the top or something like that. And people could walk through and you could kind of read through this presentation with them. And then they have a document they can always come back to and just catch up on everything. So I like the documents. We haven't used it a ton at Madewell, but we are thinking about using it a little bit more often. And then if you come back to the beginning, the last thing that I wanted to show you is the web page. Now, I don't use it because obviously we're a development company and we just write custom code for all of our websites. We don't usually use tools like this or Webflow or Wix, but this is maybe a good option for somebody that wants to use it for brainstorming. So if I came into our website again, Command A, I go back into ChatGPT, I start a new chat, close that, paste it in, and say, write me the outline for a website landing page. And then same thing here. I'm going to copy this. Here's some format for you. Write it out. I can copy this, come down to the bottom, copy this, throws a footer in, and paste it. Generate from the outline and click continue. Now, same thing, it's going to use this card by card style. So you kind of see the different cards here. Now, we might not want this to be extensive or detailed. Maybe you want it to be concise. And maybe we do want images, but let's just use their image placeholders in here so we can add our own images. And then you can click generate. Now, it's going to kind of lay everything out. Now, again, like I mentioned, this might just be for brainstorming or just kind of seeing what the outline could look like on your website. The one thing I do kind of like about this is you could maybe swap between themes really easily just to kind of brainstorm what a website could look like. You could switch from light mode and just easily switch over to dark mode and kind of see, oh, this is what it would look like if we had some dark colors in the background and, our primary colors, and just throwing some different things in here like this. And so do I love it? No, I probably wouldn't use this to actually design a website, but you can. And so you could come up here and click publish and actually publish with a custom domain and have a live website on the internet super fast like this. So if you just needed like a placeholder website, fine. This could be great, and just kind of publish something, have a placeholder website, benvalentine.com, and have something better than just a lander page or a website coming soon or under construction. I think this is great, right? Just go ahead, throw it together, and this could be an actual website that somebody could visit and just get a little bit of information on it. And then you could just replace out these images here. And then obviously these buttons here, you could maybe link them to something else like a calendar page where they could actually book a call with you. And so is it useful? Yes, I think that it's better than nothing. You could link it swap between buttons, links, things like that. I wouldn't necessarily suggest this. I would just suggest going with some of the better AI web design, web creating tools out there, or coming to a company like ours that could build your website for you. But this is kind of cool that you can do this and just publish it as a website. So the last couple of things I wanted to show you guys in here is you can add members in here. If you come down to settings and members, click members, you could add other team members in here. And so if you wanted to add your team and give them access to create presentations with you, maybe all your sales team, you could do that and they all get access to the same gammas. But if you just wanted to share a theme or a template, you could come into themes, click on one of your saved themes, and just copy the share link. So that way they could actually get access to that design for their gammas, but have a separate account. And then the same thing in templates. If you wanted to create a template, you could come in here and actually copy one of your templates and just send it over. But if I wanted a standard, you can kind of use the other templates that they've got in here. They've got some great ones that you could start with and just follow that outline, but then swap it out with your information. And then finally, if you come into settings and you click on API keys, you do have to upgrade to their pro version to be able to get access to the API. But API basically means that you can automate things. So one example of that we're considering doing is every long form video that we create on YouTube, I'm thinking about turning it into a carousel for LinkedIn. And so being able to say every time a YouTube gets published on our channel, if it's a long form video, take it, extract all the transcript and information about that, turn it into a LinkedIn carousel layout with AI, and then automatically push that into Gamma. So that way you can have the same theme, the same layout, and it'll create that LinkedIn carousel for you. Then extract the actual PDF from the Gamma and then automatically upload it to LinkedIn. That's all possible, right? So literally a LinkedIn post got published high quality from your YouTube video. That could all happen automatically, but you have to have access to the API here, and then use something like Zapier or make.com or N8N, or have a company like ours come in and automate it for you. And so I love tools that give you access to the API. In my opinion, it's like the standard now. You need to be able to have access to an API if you want to automate things. Otherwise, you're really stuck and you're locked into that tool. So anytime you try out a new tool, if they don't have an API, just proceed with caution how much you actually build your systems around that, because in the future, you're going to want to plug that into some other tool. And if you don't have an API, you can't stitch those two tools together. And so big fan of tools that allow you to have access to a public facing API without having to custom create one or have to get in touch with customer service. So Gamma gives you access to that. Now, if you wanted to just give a quick look at the pricing, their free version gives you a lot, right? But you can just upgrade to the plus or the pro version, $8. Obviously switch to monthly, so $10 a month, $25 a month, or their ultra, obviously at $100 a month per seat. So every member, you're going to be paying for them, and it just gives you different credits, how many gammas that you could actually create, how many AI images that you can create, things like that. And so the free version gives you 400 credits. So you could do a lot with that. So I would just recommend giving it a shot. You can start with this and then you can test it out and see if it's something that you like. And then we just upgraded to the plus version because it was helpful. And then once we start automating, you're going to be looking at that $25 a month. And that should give you pretty much everything that you need, unless you really need a lot more credits to be able to create a lot more things. Maybe you're creating social media posts for your clients or things like that, then you might want to upgrade to the ultra at that point. But just think $100 a month, being able to save you hours and hours and hours of design time. This is totally worth the money. And so for us, $10 a month is nothing for what we're getting in return. And that's the biggest thing that we tell people about any AI tool is you're literally saving hours. And so when you think about the monthly fee, it's usually going to be worth it if it saves you minimum an hour or two on a task. And this, for me, Gamma saves me hours and hours and hours, sometimes days of design work. And so we think it's 100% worth the cost. And so big fan of Gamma. We'll have a link to that in the description. We're not affiliated with them. I just love Gamma. It's a phenomenal tool. And our job at Madewell is to find you the best ways to implement AI into your business. Well, thanks for watching. I hope that you found that helpful. Now, if you guys ever need help customizing some of these automations or things like that, that's what we do at Madewell AI. We're really excited to work with people specifically with the purpose to give business owners back their time. So if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, you've got a business that you feel like is just sucking the time out of your life right now, we want to help you. And so just click the link in the description. You can book a call with somebody from our team, and we want to see if there's a way that we can use AI to give you back your time. And then if you're interested in just watching another video about how I use ChatGPT for a lot of what I was doing in this video, then just click the link here and you can watch that video next.